Tracy. Hi, Tim. I would love to see your beautiful faces on our screen so I'm not speaking into the black box by myself. Hi, Tim. Hi, Cherish. Nice to see you. I would love to see your beautiful faces if I can. That would be lovely. I don't see anyone's face, but if you want to start chatting in the chat, if you can put where you're calling in from, how many kids you have, how old they are, we would love that. I'm Michelle, and I have two kids, one who is 20. I can't believe it. Hi, Cherish. I'm glad your camera, no, put your camera on. I love to see you on your camera. I love to see everyone on their camera. Um, Hi, Muna. Nice to see you. I love seeing people's faces. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. If you want to write in the chat, Muna, where you're from, how many kids you have, and their ages, that would be lovely. Hi, Cherish. Nice to see you. Like I said, I have a 20-year-old daughter and a 17-year-old daughter. I live in Los Angeles, but I am really originally from Oregon and I still claim it as my home. Um, and I've been doing this work for 15 years, very, very long time. So let's see, we've got people. Let's see. Tracy's going to come home and turn her camera on. Oh, great. Tim, of course, is one of our coaches. He's from Indiana. He's got four kids, 25, 23, 20, and 17. Chelsea from Virginia has two boys. Amazing. Cherish has two kids, 13 and 6. Okay. Awesome. Tracy from Toronto, three kids, 17, 15, and 12. Amazing. Anybody else who'd like to put their camera on, I'd love to see your gorgeous faces. Be so lovely to participate with all your faces on camera so I don't feel like I'm alone in this black box. Okay. We are going to get started because I'm a timely person and I like to get started on time. So we're here and we are going to be talking about the problem child, right? Thank you for being here. I know it takes a lot out of your day, but your kids are so lucky to have you because not every parent spends time talking about parenting. In fact, most don't. So I'm really glad you're here. You are a special kind of person. You are deeply dedicated to your kids, and they're lucky to have you. So today we're going to talk about something almost no one in your house is willing to say out loud, or maybe they do. I don't know. And it's something that I struggled with. So if this is your first time here, please welcome. Thank you for being here. Please write in the chat how many kids you have, how old they are, and where you're calling from. I would love to have your cameras on. We will be sharing at the end. So please turn your cameras on later so I can see your gorgeous faces. Okay. You have a child who is hard at home, hard at school, hard at the grocery store, the one who explodes, the one who refuses, the one whose teacher emails you all the time, the one your in laws always ask about, are they okay? And somewhere along the way, in your own head, if not out loud, you started calling them the difficult one, the intense one, the challenging one, the spirited one, the one with the issues, the orchid child. And you love them. Of course, you love them. But somewhere quietly, privately, where no one can see, you have started to wonder if something is wrong with them, or maybe with you, or maybe with both of you. If you are here today, you are already doing something right because most parents will not say this out loud or even think about it or even entertain it. So today I'm going to walk you through what is actually happening when you have a child who's hard, why labels become destinies, and why the very word problem child is doing damage to the kid you are trying to help, and what to do about it starting today. Let me tell you a little story. This is a story that I shared in my book, Unpunished. You can find it at unpunishedbook.com if you're interested. It's a story of Esme when she was little. She was the loud one. She was big. She filled every room. She fought with me. She fought with the world. And she required all of my parenting energy because she demanded it. And the hardest part of our day was getting her dressed in the morning. As a little kid, she didn't want to. So I would threaten her, and then I would yell at her, and then I would scare her into doing what I asked her to do. And by the time we walked out the door, the three of us, me, Esme, and our little sister Pia, were sad and angry and wiping tears the whole day, whole way to school. And I remember walking past other families and asking myself, is this normal? Is this how it's supposed to work? Is everybody as upset and angry as I am? Eventually, I decided it wasn't normal, but not because I looked at myself, of course. I looked at her. I decided something's wrong with my daughter. And we needed to figure out what it was. We needed a diagnosis so we could fix her. So I went and got one. I took her to occupational therapy in a big industrial building in the valley. They put her through these assessments and they came back with a label: tactile defensiveness disorder, and a treatment plan. And here's the part I'm not proud of. Here's the part that I want you to hear, and maybe I'm not alone. When they handed me the diagnosis and I read it, I felt relief because it meant the problem was her and not me. That is what I felt. I felt relief. I had a label for my child, and that label let me off the hook. It allowed me to blame her. So we did the brushing protocol, we did everything they told us, and nothing changed. Not because the problem was not a disorder. The problem was that I had stopped seeing my daughter and started seeing her as a defect, something that needed to be fixed. It took me a long time to understand what I had really done. I had not gone looking for help for my child. I had gone looking for proof that she was the problem. Drop a yes in the chat if you've ever, even quietly, just for a second, wished someone would tell you what was wrong with your child so you could fix it. Drop a yes in the chat if you've ever felt like that. I know it's hard, but I felt that same way. And I also know unknowingly, I had been doing the same thing to my Pia, my youngest. From the day she was born, she was different. She was watchful. She was quiet. She was easy. People told me, wow, you're so lucky. At least the second one balances out the first one. And I believed it. For years, I told myself how lucky I was to have one hard one and one easy one. That was a story I lived in. And then one afternoon, when Pia was about 3 years old, she said something to me that I will never forget. She said, Mom, you don't have to worry about me. I do it on my own. And I said something like, I know, baby, you always do. That was the day I realized that I had been calling the easy one was actually the one who was disappearing. Drop a yes in the chat if you have a child you have called the hard one and one that you've called the easy one, or maybe you just have the easy one. Drop a yes if you have that child. Yeah, Rosa does, Shannon does, Tim does, Tracy does, a lot of us do. I want to remind you of something before we go any further. I was a teacher and a counselor for 13 years before I had children. I worked with kids from kindergarten through high school. I had spent more than a decade studying how children develop, how relationships shape them, how attention either feeds or starves or their child's sense of self. And I still did this. I still unknowingly labeled my kids. I spent the first years of Esme's life threatening her, treating her like a project, the thing to be managed, the behavior to be corrected, the problem to be solved. She was always my issue. So if you've done this, and if you're doing it right now, or if you are having a hard time getting out of this, there's nothing wrong with you. It's one of the most invisible patterns in parenting. It's so invisible that even people who are trained to see it miss it. And I did for years with my own kids. Here's the lie most of us were sold. We were told Some kids are just difficult. Some kids are wired wrong. Some kids need more discipline, more consequences. You need to parent them differently. And a lot of times when I hear people say we need to parent them differently, they'll say, oh, the strong one needs more punishments. And the one who is quieter doesn't need the punishments. If your child's hard, you have to be harder. That's the thought. If they push, you have to push back even more. If they explode, you have to contain them. That's what good parenting looks like according to conventional ideas. But I've tried all that, and I don't know if you have, but it doesn't work. The label is not telling you the truth about your child. The label is telling you what you have run out of. A child's not a problem. The child is actually a relationship. Difficult is not a personality trait. It's a parent saying, I don't understand what's happening here. I'm out of patience. I've run out of tools. I do not know what to do with this child anymore. That's real. And I've been there. I get it. But the moment we put the label on the child instead of on the situation is hard, right? The child isn't hard. We've done two things. We've made the child the source of the problem, and we've made ourselves powerless to fix it. Because you can't fix a personality. If your child is just difficult, there's nothing to do. And here's the part that takes parents a minute. The behavior we call difficult, the explosions, the refusal, the meltdown, it's all just communication. Your child is telling you something. They're telling you you are overwhelmed. They're telling you you are not regulated. They're telling you you can't hold it together 1 minute longer. They're not giving you a hard time. And we've heard this all the time, right? They're having a hard time. They don't mean to do this. They're not doing it on purpose. That's not bad behavior. That's a child that doesn't have a voice to express the way they're feeling or what's happening inside of them. And here's the cost of the label. When we keep calling them the difficult one, the spirited one, the intense one, they actually hear us. They believe us. And we begin interacting with that kind of programming. And they begin to live inside the role we have given them. They become the thing we have told them that they really are. When you think about your child right now, think about the child that's hard for you. The one that brought you to this training. What's the label you've been carrying for them? A, is it difficult? Put an A in the chat if it's the difficult one. If it's B, the intense one, put B in the chat, the spirited one. C, the one with the issues. Or D, honestly, all three of them. And there's no shame. I think my daughter was D. I mean, I really believed she was D. I thought she had issues. I thought she was intense, and I thought she was difficult. Joy says B. Yeah. Anybody else? I see A from Lauren. I call mine a spicy one. Yes. And I think a lot of people use spicy. Greta says B. Shannon says D. Reza says A. Araminta says A. And spicy. Yes. The label's heavy. It's heavy for you. It's heavy for them. And we're going to talk about exactly why and exactly what we can do, because it doesn't have to remain like that. And it becomes us changing our mindset, changing the way we come to them, changing the way in which we parent. And that's what we do at Peace and Parenting. That's what I do with my clients every single day. That's what we do in coaching. We change mindsets. We begin to look at our children as children instead of as problems, because that's what they are. If you are ready to change your mindset, if you want to make new meaning in your parenting, write the word support in the chat so we can get you the support you need to make that happen through coaching. Okay, let me put some science under this. Rosenthal and Jacobs' classic 1968 study, Pygmalion in the Classroom, demonstrated that when adults are led to believe certain children are exceptional, those children measurably outperform their peers, purely because of an expectation. The reverse is also documented. When adults expect a child to be a problem, that child's behavior moves toward the expectation. That adult's belief becomes the child's reality. We don't want that in our programming. We want to see children as children. We want to see them as just merely operating in their own world. So, in plain English, when you call your child the difficult one, even silently, you are not describing just them. You're shaping who they are or who they might become. And it cuts the other way too. When you stop calling them difficult and start treating them as a child who is struggling, who needs help, they shift. Certainly not overnight, but they do because your expectations are part of the way in which they come to this world. This same line of research tells us that when one child consistently gets less of the warmth, even unintentionally, that child is the one whose adolescence gets harder. Not the loud one, the quiet one. The disappearing child grows up. And often what they take with them into adulthood is the belief that love has to be earned by not being the problem. This is how we get people pleasers. How many of us in this crowd today are people pleasers? Please write a yes in the chat if you're the people pleaser. If you're the one who didn't want to be the problem because that's the way you got noticed. Yep, so many people. Tracy, Chell, Cherish, yes, Lauren, yes, so many of us. Now, here's the broader research on what actually works. When researchers looked at the behavior of children whose parents respond with warmth and connection versus parents who respond with harsh discipline across hundreds of studies, dozens of countries over decades, the findings are not subtle. Pickard's 2017 analysis integrated findings from 1,435 studies on parenting and child behavior problems. The pattern's consistent. Parental warmth, autonomy and support, and an authoritative parenting style were associated with fewer externalizing problems. Harsh discipline and psychological control were associated with more. Across 1,435 studies. That's not a little bit of science, that's a lot. Connection works, warmth works. Harshness makes everything worse, including the behavior we're trying to fix. Okay, let's think about our own childhood for a second. Did anyone label you growing up? Were you called the smart one, the lazy one, the loud one, the sensitive one? Write it in the chat. Which one were you? No answer's wrong. And we were all labeled something, I think. I was the difficult one for sure. Oh, Araminta, there we are, the difficult ones. Here we go. The good one, Tim, the loud one, too much, too quiet, lazy, loud. Tracy says quiet, sensitive, and difficult. Joy says the wild one, sensible. We all got the label. Why? Why do we have the label? Whatever came up, notice how fast it came to you. Notice how much that label has carried with you. Since you were a kid, you still have it. My difficult one came right out of my mouth so easily. That's what we're doing to our kids when we let that label stick. This isn't to blame us or to blame our parents. It's just to have awareness, to be aware just of exactly what we're doing. Here are 5 patterns that quietly turn a child who's struggling into a child who has been labeled. I see these every week in coaching. I have done all 5 of them myself. 1, comparison. You think, why isn't he like his brother or sister? Why can't she just be easy like the other one? Children pick up on this, even when you don't say it, but they can read your actions, your expressions. They feel which sibling or which version of themselves on a good day you respond to with delight and which ones you don't. Here's the fix. Stop measuring this child against any other version of any other child. They just are who they are. 2, expectation accounting. Asking for regulation they have not been given. You expect your child to walk into a hard situation and self-regulate. Sit still, wait their turn, use their words, be polite, manage their disappointment. But they can't do it on all the days, and they can't do it in all of their phases of development. It's not even physically possible. So, regulation is not part of our personality. It's a skill we learn over time, and skills are built through our developmental stages, not in the middle of a meltdown. They're built in low stakes moments. Your child cannot draw on regulation they haven't been given yet. Number 3, treating the behavior as the message instead of the messenger. Instead of screaming gets the consequence, refusal gets the punishment, meltdown gets the timeout, we respond to what's on the surface, the behavior. We're missing what's underneath. Exhaustion, overwhelm, dysregulation, hunger, friend issues, teacher issues, sibling issues. Something's going on. What's the message? What is this child telling me? That's the question we should be asking. Number 4, naming your child to themselves. You're so dramatic. You're impossible at bedtime. How many of you heard that from your parents? I heard you're so dramatic, probably on repeat. Write it in the chat if you heard what phrase you heard. Did you hear, I'm dramatic, you're impossible. Oh, you're so sweet. Oh, you're so kind. What was it that you heard from your parents? Every one of those sentences is a label being handed to your child as if it were the truth about them. They believe us and they live inside the role we gave them. The fix, never describe who they are. Describe what's happening. You are impossible, not you are impossible at bedtime, but oh, bedtime's really tough for us tonight, isn't it? This sentence keeps the door open to we're having a hard time. You're not the hard time. Number 5, apologizing in advance for one child to other adults. Oh, she's our wild one. Oh, he's the one we worry about. Oh, we'll see you in a minute. He's a handful. We say this at school pickups, at dinners, playground. Our children hear us and they file it away as the truth about themselves and in front of every other adult in their life. The fix, in our house, we don't define the children to outsiders. We say, in our house, all our kids are just figuring themselves out. We love them all through it. Today, we're having a hard time with this. Today, we're having a hard time with that. So these 5 things, silent comparisons, expectation accounting, treating behavior as the message, naming and apologizing, these are how parents actually create the problem child. None of them came from not loving your child. All of them came from a culture that has taught us that children need to be managed, that they aren't just children doing children things. If you feel like you want to go deeper, you want to ask more questions, you need more reflection, you want to figure this out, coaching could be the answer for you. Drop the word support in the chat right now, and my team will reach out and we will talk about whether coaching is right for you. You and I could sit down and discuss it. If you wrote support, please write your email address so we can find you. Thank you. Thank you, Cherish. Thank you, Joy. Now, let's talk about what actually works. The single most powerful tool I have for this, for the labeled child, for the kid who has been hard for years, or for the one who's way too quiet, for the family stuck in the cycle after cycle of explosion and consequence, is special time. Special time is one-on-one. It is not a family activity. It is not, let's all hang out together and watch a movie. There are rules to special time. It's timed. It is kid-driven. They get to decide what you're doing, not you. You do not get an agenda. Only they do. We don't teach, we don't correct, we don't fix, and we just be with our kids for 20 minutes. I suggest you do it 3 times a week, but I really suggest you do it 7 times a week if you can, because this is where our problem child doesn't feel like the problem anymore. For the child who has been labeled the problem, special time is the message they've been waiting for their whole life. I see you separately from your behavior. I want to be with you. I want to connect with you. I want to do what you're interested in. For the quiet child, special time is also the same message. I see you. I want to do what you're interested in. You don't just have to be quiet. You get to have a voice. You get to say what we're doing. You get to ask for your connection. When I started doing this with Esme, really doing it, setting the timer, putting my phone away, asking what she wanted, within about 4 weeks, the behavior I had been calling difficult started to soften. No joke. Not because I punished her or threatened her, but because I gave her enough connection to come out of survival mode. She was constantly in a brain that was offline. This helped her come back online. What I've been telling myself was that Esme was difficult personality, was actually a child whose nervous system had no resources left. She was constantly in alert. And special time, it's not a reward. It's not a treat. You do not take it away when behavior gets bad and give it when behavior is good. It is everything. It is water. It is food. It is connection. It is essential. There's a second tool. It is the language tool. I try not to say, "Why are you like this?" I try not to say, "You're being so difficult." I try not to describe my child in those ways. I try to be very simple and say, "We're having a hard time." And in our house, we make space for the person in front of us. That forces me to look at the child today in this moment. Not the child of yesterday's tantrum, not the child who had a fight with their sister 2 hours ago. The child right here in front of my face right now is having a hard time. Okay, this week, the next time you're about to describe one of your kids in front of the other, pause. Don't say it. Just don't. That little tiny act of restraint will start to reshape your kids' identities and reshape the way you think about your child. Because if you can stop yourself from thinking that way, you can also stop yourself from saying those things. Then it doesn't become part of your reality anymore. Okay, your roadmap this week. Here's your practical roadmap, 5 steps. Schedule special time with the child you have been calling difficult or the child that you've been calling easy, or in my mind, special time with everybody. At least 10 minutes, at least 3 times a week. In a perfect world, 7 days a week for 20 minutes. I know that sounds like a lot, but that isn't a lot. The benefits you're going to get will be incredible. Step 2, stop using the label out loud and in your head. More difficult one, spirited, my hard kid, my independent one, my quiet one. Just their name. Pia, Esme, just their name. This one's having a hard time right now. Step 3, ask the question underneath the behavior. When the explosion happens, before you respond, ask yourself, what is my child actually trying to tell me right now? Just to yourself, you think to yourself, what are they trying to tell me? They're trying to tell me something. What could it possibly be? Step 4, notice the next time you describe them to somebody else. At pickup, at dinner, with your in-laws, I need to work on this one. The next time you start to say, he's the wild one, say something else. He's figuring it out like all of us. The sentence buys your child their identity back. And number 5, repair when you can. If you have a child who's been carrying a label for years, name it out loud to say to them, I think I've been treating you like the hard one for a long time. I'm sorry. You're not the problem. You're my kid. I want to know what's actually going on for you. Okay. Try this week. Pick the child this training brought you here for. Schedule 20-minute special time if you can. And in the next 72 hours, and then put it on your calendar like a meeting that you have to do. Don't move it. Don't not do it. It's like water. It's like food. You have to. It's connection. And see what happens. Give yourself 5 days. And after those 5 days, if you've done it every single day, think about how it feels, how your relationship feels, how you all feel. I want to tell you about a mom who I worked with for a couple of years. She came to me convinced that her 7-year-old son was, in her words, the difficult one, which, yes, they were having a hard time. And yes, he felt difficult to her. That was her reality. He was the one with the meltdowns at school, the notes home from the teacher, the wars at bedtime, the refusing to eat at dinner. Who has this kid? Put a yes in the chat, please. I had this kid. The whole family had organized itself around him being the problem. Everyone knew it, including him, because he heard everyone at home saying the same thing. He's the difficult one. Mom, tell him to stop. He's this, he's that. So we dug in. I asked her one question. I said, when was the last time you spent real time with him? No agenda, no homework, no correction, no basketball practice, no reminder, just you and him. And she thought about it and she couldn't remember. We started special time 10 minutes, 3 nights a week because she said she couldn't do 7. She was convinced it didn't work. She didn't see anything change the first couple of days. Even in the first 2 weeks, she didn't see anything change. Even his behavior began to get a little worse, not better. And she almost quit. I told her to keep going. Don't stop. Don't stop. By week 10, and it took 10 weeks, the school had stopped emailing her. The bedtime fights were down. He had told her on a drive home from soccer that he sometimes felt like everyone in the house was mad at him. She had not realized what was in the air he had been breathing, what was going on. She told me, I didn't fix my hard kid. I stopped calling him hard and he started connecting and he stopped having to be hard. He was getting the negative attention and it was like a loop. How many people in this group have a kid who you think seeks the negative attention because they're in that loop right now and they can't get out? Write a yes in the chat if you have that child who's seeking the negative stuff because there's nowhere else to go. Okay. I want to tell you there are places you can get help. My book is lovely. It tells this story. It's a guide and a memoir. It's on unpunishedbook.com. The Peace and Parenting podcast is really great too. I have lots and lots of episodes. There's one called The Strong-Willed, Highly Sensitive Kid. I think we'll drop that in the chat, please. And then there's a special time guide. This is a huge resource if you're not familiar with special time. So we'll drop that guide in the chat. And then fourth, and this one is the one that makes the biggest impact on people, that is one-on-one coaching. And one-on-one coaching that I do with parents feeds my soul. And I get to help people reshape their way in which they come to their kids, reshape the way they think about parenting so that they can have tools that last a lifetime. Coaching is private. It's just us. We look at your kid, your patterns, the specific moment in your house that has been falling apart over and over again, and we build something that actually works for your family. Not a generic plan, not a script, not some just random stuff. We actually dive deep. If you want to know if one-on-one coaching is right for you, type the word support in the chat so we can reach out, so I can talk to you, so we can sit down and say, is one-on-one coaching good for you? Not in 3 days, do it today. We'll have a real conversation. We'll outline your challenges, your needs, and we'll create a plan that works. One more thing, and this is for parents in here who hear all of this and think, I want to do this. I want to work for other families too. Twice a year, we do a coaching certification program. We're doing it in June. It's for parents who have lived this work, done this work in their house, and they want to help other families. They want to be coaches. If that's you, even quietly or just a thought about it, drop the word certification in the chat. If you want to be a coach, I would love to help you get there. We do it in small groups, just 5 or 6 people, and we really dive deeply into this work. So if you're interested in being a coach, write the word certification. Okay. You showed up for your kid this morning. You came here. That matters. Here is my challenge for you this week. Pick the child this training brought you here for, the one you have been calling difficult. Schedule the special time and do it with them as much as you possibly can. Phone away, no agenda, and see what happens. See how you feel. Really evaluate it after a week. Okay. You do not have a problem child. You have a child who is communicating in the only language they have right this second. The job is not to fix them. The job is to see them separately from the label, fully on their own terms. The label's the problem. Connection is the answer. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I would love to have a little chat here if everybody wants to come on camera. Who has a question? Do people have okay, I'm only going to be able to see if you have a question if you have your camera on. Oh, yay. Oh, Rachel's here. Oh, Muna's back. Tracy's here. Lovely. Everyone's on camera. I love. Hi, Lauren. Oh, Lauren, I haven't seen you in a while. So nice to see you. Okay, if you have a question, hi, Greta. Please raise your hand like this or use your little fake hand in your Zoom so that I can see that you have a question. I would love to chat with you if you have any questions about the problem child, or if you have any questions about this training, or if you have any thoughts on parenting in general. Hi, Araminta. I would love to have your questions. And so we can just chat and talk and I can help anybody. Hi, Rosas. How are you? I would love to chat with you. Anybody have a specific question around parenting or around the problem child or around the quiet child, around anything that's we talked about? Nobody? I don't believe it. Yeah, Muna.
Sorry, Tim. So the funny thing is that I came here today, and I have older kids, adult kids, basically. And yet the crazy thing is that everything that you had written in the email or whatever I received and that caught my attention is not geared towards teenagers or young adults, and yet it's exactly that behavior. So I'm intrigued by that because I know it's clear what's happening, and yet it was quite an eye opener just now to hear you speaking about the little ones, and everything you said fits one to one to my 17-year-old.
Oh, yeah. No, this is for the older ones too. This is
Yeah.
for everybody. I mean, I think any person actually, any person can be labeled the difficult one. Like, what if you're the difficult one in your neighborhood, or what if you're the spicy one on your in your book club? We have labels all over the place. So I think it really can be for anybody. But that's great. Thank you for sharing that. It's amazing. Yeah, Tim.
There was a question. Hunar was asking, what if the child is objecting, or during special time?
Yeah.
What if she tries to do special time with him and he's just wanting to line up objects?
Okay, great. Let him line up objects and tell him, like, oh my gosh, I love the way you're lining up these objects. What else can we put? Can I help you line up an object? Just get into whatever it is they're into. Be the best playmate you could possibly be. Follow their lead deeply because you want to get them hooked on the idea of special time. And once you can get them hooked on that and you can really be with them in those moments, just do whatever it is that they're asking you to do, then the special time will start to change. But it takes a lot of practice and a lot of sticking in there with them. If they're not used to it or if they don't like it, then you have to convince them that this is amazing and you have to be the amazing playmate. If that makes sense. Great. I think Greta had a question, but she's walked away. Anybody else? Greta, you have a question? Yeah. Let me help you. Sometimes it's hard to find. I can do that. There you go. Hi. Oh no, I still can't hear you. It's still on mute for some reason. I don't know. Do you have your Bluetooth? Sometimes your Bluetooth speakers or your headphones are somewhere in your house and they're attached to it. I know that happens to me sometimes. No?
Do you hear me now?
Now I can.
Now I
Yes.
can. Yes.
Oh no, now it just went off again. Sorry. I hate technology. Well, maybe you work on that. See if anybody else does anybody else have a question? Yeah, keep working on that. Does anybody else have a question or thought or anything about strong-willed? How many people have the strong-willed kid or the harder kid or the problem child or the all the like and how many people have the quieter, the kid that's labeled. Yeah. Yeah. And I think there are hard labels on both sides, right? It's not one isn't easier or better than the other for the kid or even for us. It's interesting how they both play their part. Many of these labels play their part. Sensitive, the dramatic one, the whatever it is. Greta, did you get your? No, I can't hear you. Sorry. So sorry. Okay.
Sarah can type
Yeah.
her question in chat.
Oh, yeah.
So
Greta, you
yeah.
can type your question in the chat if you'd like, and then I can read it. Yeah, do that.
Yes.
Fantastic. Any other thoughts on the problem child? Any other programming you want to talk about, or any other issues you have with your child, or maybe there's a specific thing that's happened in the past that you've been like, God, I don't know how to deal with this. This thing always happens to us. No, nobody. I'm gonna wait for Greta's message here too. Cherish says, when are we going to be able to do this again? Oh yeah, we're planning. We have a one next week that's just a different subject matter each week, but we have them on Thursdays at 9:30. Yeah. What kind of topics would you like to discuss? Oh yeah, thank you. That was great. Question is this: I never wanted to label my child and I never did, but my child really has very intense meltdowns and she really feels whenever she can do that. And it's really intense. Yeah. How many people have a kid with intense emotions who has the big meltdowns, who comes real heavy? And yeah, I think many, I think many of us do. I think the thing that can help us is just to say, this child's struggling, right? And if we can reframe like this child is struggling and that's why they're so intense and that's why they're having such a hard time is they are internally struggling. And the best we can do is come to them with self-regulation if we can and empathy. I'm right here. I know this is really hard. I understand. I'm with you. And if we can stay calm and not meet their intensity, then we can help them come back online. We can help their prefrontal cortex come back online so they can find their calm again. It's not easy, Greta. It really isn't. But I think that's part of our work, right? That's part of what we do in Peace and Parenting is to really work through how we use the tool of empathy and how we self-regulate. And this can be for a child. This can be for a 20-year-old. This can be for your sister, actually. And this can be for your infant. This stuff is just how to be in good relationships with anybody. Yep, you're welcome. Fantastic. Anybody else have a question or a thought on parenting? I'm really patient. It's really hard to make me angry, but me staying calm makes her angrier. Oh, that's a good point, though, Greta. Thank you for bringing that up. Lots of times, kids, adults, adolescents, when you come with calm self-regulation and empathy, it makes them more upset because they're scared of those feelings. And they know your calm and your empathy is going to evoke their feelings more and more, which is a good thing, not a bad thing. But it might make them angry because now they have to face their feelings. So just stick in there with her. It might take 30 minutes. It might take 45. I have a 20-year-old and we still have these moments where she's like, aren't you going to help me fix it? Aren't you going to do something about it? And I'm like, honey, I'm right here, but no, I'm not. But you're going to, when you come back online, you're going to figure it out. I know you are. So just stick in there with her, Greta. Yeah. Good questions. What to do when you're trying to have time with your 6-year-old and also have a clingy 2-year-old that never leaves your side? My 6-year-old sees that and always says, it's okay. I don't want to hear her cry. And then we don't really have that alone time. So hard. I remember those years. I had the 5-year-old and the 2.5-year-old. How many people have that age spread where you feel like you never get away from the other child? Yeah, Rachel does. She has little kids too. I mean, to be real honest, I used the iPad where I needed to. And I used television shows. I used books on tape. I used whatever I could to get my little one occupied so I could spend time with my big one. And I used caretakers. If I had, and my husband was around, I used him. I used our little girl across the street. She was 12 years old and she used to come be the mother's helper. I paid her $5 an hour and she would take the baby while I was with the older one. Sometimes I would do it on the weekends if I could get somebody. I just tried to really maneuver my time to get the alone time with the older one because the older ones often feel like they're constantly sacrificing, right? They're constantly making way for the baby. The baby's crying, the baby needs to be fed, or the baby needs to be changed. The baby needs so much stuff that the older one feels pushed out. So I would just work really hard to try to get that time as much as you can. It's not easy. It's really not easy, Fabiola. I understand. Good questions. Lovely questions. Any more? Anything else I can clear up for anybody? You're welcome, Fabiola. Thank you. Anybody else have anything happening in their world? Oh, yeah. Yes, Soleil?
Yeah, so I have a question. So when you're truly in the thick of it, and it's not just you that maybe feel like your child is a difficult one, but you are with other people and they tend to react bad and they have a very bad behavior, and then somebody else is saying that they're difficult. How do you stand up for your child when you're in that situation?
Good question. I mean, I would just say in our house, we know everybody's just trying to figure it out. And you say that right to the adult, right? You just say to the adult, you know what? Actually, in our house, everyone's just trying to figure it out. I lose it too sometimes. And you just hopefully you're what you really want, not so much for the adult to hear, you want your kid to hear you standing up for them. You want your kid to hear you normalizing their behavior. And that's the best thing that you can do. Who cares what the parent says or the grandparent or whoever it is, but just make sure your kid hears you saying, no, 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 no. This is normal kid behavior. We're not going to go for that. Yeah, good question. Greta, how to make everyday normal things go smoother, because with my 4-year-old, everything is a fight putting on shoes and it lasts 40 minutes. Special time, daily 20 minutes of special time with this child. Connection and cooperation go hand in hand. When we have lots of connection flowing in our house, we get lots of cooperation. When the connection is waning, so does the cooperation. They go together. I would do 20 minutes with that child as much as you possibly can. And in 7 or 8 days, you should probably see a little tiny movement towards more cooperation. Yeah, great. Anybody else? Anything else? Tim? And then
Yeah, Rosa was just asking in the chat, does it work for children with ADHD?
Oh yeah,
That's what I was
absolutely.
going to ask you
Yeah,
to say more about that.
Yeah, Araminta, do you mind sharing about your son?
Oh, I can.
Or do you mind if I share about your son?
You go ahead.
Yeah. Araminta's son has ADHD, and we actually have a lot of people in our community whose kids have ADHD. And one of the most powerful tools for kids with ADHD is connection, because a lot of the help says threaten them, reward them, do sticker charts, do rewards charts, bribe them, and do all this stuff. But nobody wants to be bribed. Nobody wants to be controlled like that, most especially an ADHD child, because they have a very strong sense of self usually, and they don't want to ignore that sense of self by succumbing to threats and bribes and star charts and stickies and all this stuff. And I think Araminta will tell you, and maybe she'll share, is that her son has ADHD, and the only thing that's ever worked with him is connection. And maybe Araminta, can you just say a little bit about your experience with it?
Well, his school refusal was pretty strong, and he wasn't in school for several years. And working with Michelle over the past couple years, he's now in school, and he still struggles with all kinds of things, wanting to bathe, wanting to brush his teeth or eat or whatever. The more severe the ADHD, the more oppositional behavior you get, and he's very oppositional. And the more connection I use with him, the more responsive he is. But it's a constant daily thing. And anything that happens at school, he'll come home and be explosive, or, and then it just takes a lot of energy. But there's nothing else. Like I tried all the other things. I was in other regular parenting classes and nothing worked. I mean, he was not responding.
No.
Yeah.
He's a million times better than he was. He's doing a lot better. And he's in school every day. Okay, wait, there's more. I forget about the chat. Is it normal that their behavior triggers my inner child so much and get overstimulated? How many people have their inner child triggered on a daily basis? Me, two me's, all the me's. Yes, yes, yes. So normal, because we spent our formative years in a certain experience, and that experience was a parent child experience. So when we get to our next parent child experience, even though we're the parent, we come with our child experience. So unless we talk about it and reprogram it and really dive deeply into it, and that's where coaching is so good, because when we coach, we really say, like, hold on, wait a minute. This is your child speaking. This is your inner child speaking. This is not your adult child. Let's analyze that. And then we get in there and really say, okay, here's your new mindset shift. Here's what you can be thinking, just like we did today, right? A lot of us, the labels came from our inner child, right? Because we were labeled something. So, of course, we're going to label our kids something. But if we can change and just say, no, 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 my child is a child being a child, having a hard time. They are not a problem. So, of course, I think it's constant battle, a constant battle. Araminta.
I think it's interesting that all the other children in the neighborhood who are being parented regularly and with control are actually not as, I don't know, well behaved now after, as Leif, after doing this for several years.
Yeah.
He's more responsible and responsive and like knows that he shouldn't, be destroying certain things or whatever. And he can share. He's an only child, and he's just really almost more mature because he's had more autonomy because he needed it. He wasn't going to be controlled.
Well, and also he's choosing to be that way, right? He's
Yeah.
choosing to make the good choice. He's choosing the behavior. The kids who are out on the in the street playing, they're like, "Oh, mom's not watching and dad's not
Exactly.
watching, so I'm going to try this behavior because it's not allowed at home." Right? And so they'll try it with their friends because they haven't honed that internal moral compass about what's right and wrong, because they've been controlled, and that's what's been keeping them doing the right things just while everyone's watching.
And they try it with me too. Can I have $20?
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Oh, we got a baby over here. Rachel's baby. So happy. So cute. Anything else, lovely parents? The worst behavior is only to me and not to people like teachers or dad or grandparents. 1000%. Guess what, Greta? You're doing something right, because she knows how to regulate outside the house, and she's showing you all the hard things that she needs to show you because you're safe. And that's where she's going to show them, because she has nowhere else to do it. But if you can be her safe container for those feelings, you're going to create so much connection. That's connective. Yeah. Amazing. Other folks, anything else? Okay. Did I miss anything? Nope. You guys were so lovely. Thank you for spending your morning with me. I so appreciate it. If you're interested in the certification program, doing my coaching, it's a small group. We're going to start in a few weeks. I love it. It's so deep and wonderful. Tim did it, right? Tim, did you love it? Yeah. It's like soul filling. And if you want coaching, I do coaching with Araminta. Rachel's in our small group and has done coaching too. It's beautiful. And you get to a good, new, connected place with your family and with yourself. If you're interested in either of those, certification or support, if you're interested in coaching, put those in the chat for my team and they will reach out to you guys, and I will have a little chat with you. All right. I will see you all next week. If you're coming, 9:30, I don't know what the subject is. We're going to figure it out. We don't even have a subject yet. All right. Thank you so much. Certification Araminta, we got you. Thank you, Greta. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Muna. Thank you, Cherish. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank
Michelle.
you, Rachel. Thank you, Araminta. Bye, Rosa. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Bye, Carmen.
Okay.
Are we good? Jeez.
Yeah.
People love to hang on to the end. Just like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah. So we had 22.
Have we stopped the live streaming?